Test. Test. Volume test. Oh.
We in here too? Yeah. So we have to be out by the time.
Yeah, they start at 3:30. I said normally we're in and out in an hour, so I just said if we get close, I'll ask the public comment a little briefly. What kind of makes it better.
Well, I'm on the TIP commission. Like, you can give me mine, you can go with it sits now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why we stayed here. We wanted to get to the Civic Center. There might have been other people that needed to quickly make it from one to the other.
All right, I'll come right here. Actually, I'll come back here.
We have enough table space for folks. And the meeting has started, because I want to make sure I get the volume and everything working.
Okay. Hey, were you able to make anything out of those other minutes?
I haven't had a chance to
Okay.
open them yet.
I'm thinking Kelly took some notes. She usually does.
Okay.
So I didn't, some of the motions I didn't know. I mean, because I didn't hear anything. I'm assuming that it all passed.
Yeah, everything passed.
Good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, I think, how I set it up. Kelly and I she had sent you an acknowledgement that we had wanted to include in the.
I got it. It's in.
It's in there?
Yeah, I
Oh,
put it in.
good. Good. We weren't able to follow up. She had a death in her family.
Oh, Kelly did. Kelly Green. Get older or younger?
Older than her.
Oh, my.
So sad. Yeah, and then I was out of town and it was just crazy. That's why I had to take the meeting. I mean, in the end, it wouldn't have mattered because she was.
Yeah.
She was on.
Yeah, she'd have heard just as much as you heard. I'm trying to sign in sheet. I'm not gonna have space for it. Sometimes I do it on my own.
Is it over there?
I always print too.
Well, I'll pick up. I usually pick up the sign in over there.
Okay.
So I'll just do that. Is this thing on the ground of a microphone? It's not, is it?
It's just a conference phone. It's not, we're not using it.
Okay, I just want.
Are we gonna sit up here?
Yeah,
This isn't all for us.
they
Yeah.
rolled out the nice tablecloths and everything for us.
No, that's really not true.
They knew it was our last meeting for the 23 fiscal year.
Need this. You should see the packet I have for the TIF meeting.
Tom, do you live off Hopper Road?
You what now?
Do you live off of Hopper Road?
Yes.
I was driving down Hopper Road and I saw a guy with a hose out in his yard and I was like, that guy looks like Tom.
Well, the back of our house faces New Hopper Road.
Yeah.
That's where the holes, huh?
Wearing the same shirt you're wearing right now.
Yeah, that road wasn't there when I built that house.
Probably wasn't, was it?
That not.
Yeah, I have to cut that hill too.
Oh, my. Yeah, but. Dirty rider or?
Yeah, I'm a cup cadet rider. Howdy, hello.
Then I have to drive to St. Louis. Well, she won this one, Bill lot, and everybody who was, yeah. Okay.
I was told they're kicking us out at 3:30.
Oh, yeah.
One day we have lots of resolutions.
Yeah. The four are essentially for the same planning project for the city of Cape. The last two.
And resolution for support of the application.
Yeah.
Okay.
Finalize that, it just talked about our city action plan project.
Public hearings. Today.
It is, so I scheduled both right before the resolution for each one.
Okay.
So the public transit, public hearing,
And the
resolution. For it, and public hearing for the resolution.
shoot, quick. Schedule's next Thursday.
Next week or the weekend.
Next week, 29.
Yeah, next week.
Not really.
How long is this meeting afterwards supposed to last?
They kick off at 3:30 and I think it's until they're done, pretty much.
In this room for 4 hours.
I'm totally hoping.
Yeah, but you have to be with me.
Oh, you gonna be there too?
Hey, Charlie, are you ready for,
Kid me?
Maybe.
Maybe.
are you ready for a long afternoon?
I'm going both, so.
Hey,
You're
I
what?
said if it doesn't get over a certain time, I'm out of there.
I need to really leave by 5.
did you get application we sent on? Oh, God.
Oh, no. Christie might have it.
Be possible.
Huh?
I said Christie might have it.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, she might have got it.
Yeah, just shoot me a time on Friday, that works best.
I'm open all day Friday, so whatever.
I'll send you.
Okay.
Hey, Joe.
29th is my wife's birthday, and she said she's wanting to take off that day. So I'm like, okay, probably I'll try to rearrange if I can then.
Now, both are open. Good.
very well. Jim, how you doing? Good. Hey.
If you would steal it,
I'm just like that.
maybe they stole it from you.
Your Haas.
Yeah.
So, right.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. Peanut gallery. We're
Do we
gonna have
have
a big
any
crowd today.
more volunteers for?
It was public hearing.
I think.
I'll hit
Weird,
the
sitting
mayor.
around.
Looks like it might get crowded, so.
The Mayor Haas and
That's okay.
also offered to do the vice chair.
Is this right?
Very nice.
Are we sitting on this side?
Yeah,
This feels
we're
weird.
gonna have to. Try not to take any more risks.
Not our normal, not our normal setup.
Yeah, well, I might. Oh, I can't go back to a screen. Right.
That's for the people that come in last.
We're a lot of footings.
Yeah.
For the jail.
Yeah, getting bored.
See, you know, I haven't been able to make it.
It's going a lot.
Yep,
Oh,
yeah,
rock,
I got that
okay.
rock, yeah.
There's one coming up this.
Not a lot.
couple.
When you have that spot.
Good, I want to make sure,
No,
You know,
let me
No.
check and make sure that I have it on my calendar. I
which
thought I
really is
put the
good
whole-
where it's at, it kind of helps. Where that road
Let's
is,
see
keeps that road bed stabilized.
how organized I really
So you done pouring footings?
No. no, it'd be a while.
Yeah, I just realized I had double committed this
Oh.
Monday already. So
am. No, wait,
Yeah.
nope. I
The
didn't
road
do it.
project's gonna be a
Next Tuesday?
busy too.
Yeah.
and
All right.
Everything going on at once.
Well. That's,
Some ways,
Okay.
not be too bad.
yeah,
But depends on these to block
That's
the
a good
road off,
point.
All right.
So you'll be in control of that.
to do cranes and do things on that side of the
We thought
building.
about that. You're right.
Yeah, yeah. I think they're gonna have some economies of scale there, certainly. because they'll be able to
So.
control their own destiny.
The master universe right now out over there.
Yeah.
She needed on a flash drive, so she took.
We
that
got the
with her.
courthouse all demo.
Yeah, you know, you have trouble figuring out what, because there's always a meeting before and after.
there's, well, there's a one before.
Which is a good
So
though.
the solid waste management district.
It'd
means
be-
it-
Yeah.
They just kind of. Plus,
Yeah.
it's pretty much.
Yeah, there's, flip it over.
Stop by
there,
today.
you can see
That's
that.
not a
Yeah,
problem.
yeah,
Show
please
up
do.
where
Just
it's-
look it up, yeah.
Okay.
No, it's no problem.
Yeah, but it's from 1 to 2.
Now you'll make this.
It's on there. No, I have
Yeah.
to go.
Then we're having, after our meeting's over, we're having
Because
a
I'm.
tax increment finance and government lender session.
Commission check.
So,
We'll have a dais.
yeah,
You mean like
And then I think that'll be
advisory?
yep, yeah, we've got somebody from, First State Community Bank just come in and talk about government lending programs and an attorney from Gilmore Maryland. About Tim.
No, all right, Mark,
I think it is Mark.
Mark. He's gonna be here shortly, I think. We have
It's either Mark or Mark.
Let's go to Walmart. Find some.
Mark and Mark, oh, there's 2 Marks.
Yeah, we'll look that way.
I may be wrong.
Carry move over.
No, I can wait.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's all good. Pete. I'm sure I'm getting him some.
It's gonna be in there. Don't know what's.
Because we're moving the collector downstairs.
Finance.
Record storage.
What is the?
There.
That's where I was.
Pull that.
That's where I always put it all, just put all the money in the basket. So really. Facilities would have interest in that, the election, co-ops. do kind of sharing
Plan to
You know what I'm
make-
saying?
Yeah.
Because whether stuff is that, you know, by software, you make hard to pay.
That's good.
It's all one big thing. Like this, we've got proprietary stuff, we just turn those off. And you're like, it's all one place.
I could see it working.
911 centers can tell you that the lease. Ambulance service tax into that. Well, they're on circuit. Still using that. But that's a thought.
Which is there.
Based on what we all elected. You know, see how. He's only one different there. With IT.
It'll be a whole new program.
It will, yeah. Great.
Okay, I've got 2:00, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order.
If you're gonna have, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I thought we cared about.
We're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. We got 2:00. We'll start with introductions. I'm Jeremy Tans, current chairman with SEMPO RPC.
Alex McElroy, SEMPO staff.
Charlie Herbst, Cape County.
Jim Roach, City of Jackson. Rodney Bollinger, City of Jackson.
Marla Mills, KLG Engineering in SEMPO staff.
I'm Mogul Nikki, Cape County Transit.
Stacy Kinder, Mayor for Cape.
Christian, Seymour RPC.
Kelly Watson, Cape County Transit.
John Voss, State Rep District 147.
Joe Killian, Tom Caldwell, Lido.
And online, we have Chris Crocker and Betsy Tracy.
All right, thank you for joining. We'll start with the adoption of the agenda. We can have a motion.
Motion for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda is adopted. Approval of minutes. So we're emailed prior. If everyone's had a chance to review those, we'll take a motion to adopt them.
Move to approve the minutes. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes stand. I do have a brief communication. I know this room is booked for 3:30 today, so if we start getting close to 3 with the individual reports, try to keep those as brief as possible so we can accommodate the next group. So is there any further comments regarding items not on the agenda? No, moving on. We'll go to no and unfinished business. Election of officers for fiscal year 2024.
Consistency to compliance, yes.
At our last meeting, the group had wondered if Mayor Kinder was interested in the chairmanship. If not, Chairman Tans has been our chairman for the past 2 fiscal years. And then I
He's doing
hope
a
I'm not
great job.
speaking out of turn with Mayor Huss not here, but he had offered to take the vice chair unless you were more interested in a vice chair position.
Are my choices chair or vice chair, or is it?
Or it could be no chair.
That would be my choice, and I think Mr. Tans is doing a fantastic job. If he is. But no, it is the tradition, if you prefer to see every annual change and.
It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it is nice to have people not serve too many years in a row.
Sure. So Mayor Haas is willing to take on the.
So he'll be vice chair and Jeremy will do one more.
Oh, okay. Well, I think that sounds great, knowing that I'm also apparently getting nudged pretty hard to step up in leadership, perhaps for, maybe we'll revisit next year. If that's,
Okay.
if everybody's
All right.
good with all that. Okay.
So the motion would be for Mr. Tans to serve another year and then Mayor Haas to serve as vice chair.
I make that motion.
Second.
Yeah, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion pass, or it'll pass. We'll keep the officers. All right. We're going to open up a public hearing now on our public transit human services transportation coordination plan. That has been posted on the website for review, I believe.
It's legally advertised as well.
So the public hearing is now open. We're accepting any comments. Hearing none, we'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
So
Second.
I have a motion second to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, with the public hearing closed and no comments, we'll move to resolution 2023-03 to adopt the transit human services coordination plan.
So our planning committee met earlier this month and had made a recommendation for approval with incorporation of one final comment. We did add a much deserved acknowledgement of the United Way and their Transportation Coalition, as well as the Cape Girardeau County Transit Authority with all of their extensive efforts in public outreach, which we're able to piggyback off their efforts and partner with them and attend those meetings as well. And I think that really added to the bolstering of our plan. So we had actually kicked off our public engagement in October. On October 7th, we had a Project Hope community meeting at the Osage Center from 10 to 3, where we were able to complete 39 individual interviews. That was followed by an October 22nd community discussion meeting at the Shawnee Sports Complex, where we had representatives from Cape Girardeau Transit, United Way, Community Partnership, and local elected officials present. There were over 50 citizens that attended. And then on December 8th, we conducted in partnership with the county and United Way, County Transit United Way, a print and web-based survey where we received 267 responses, 216 online and 17 issued by print. And then a follow-up meeting in March with the Jackson Ministerial Alliance where additional feedback was received. The plan has been recommended by our planning committee for approval, and it's before you now for consideration.
All right, a copy of the resolution was provided in the packet. Yeah,
Yes.
yes, so in the consideration of time, I would skip reading it in full. But if someone is
Move to approve resolution 2023-03.
Thank you, Jim. We have a motion to approve. We have a second.
Second.
All right, motion and second. All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution stands. We'll now move on to the public hearing on the 2024-2027 Transportation Improvement Program. We'll go ahead and consider the public hearing open for public comment. To accept those now. Hearing no comments, I'd take a motion to close the public hearing.
So move.
We have a motion,
Second.
motion and second, all in favor? Any opposed? Public hearing is now closed. We'll move on to resolution 2023-04 to adopt the 2024-2027 Transportation Improvement Program.
Latest version was included in your meeting packet. The only thing that is going to change is subsequent to our planning committee, when they made the recommendation. We acknowledged the county's new representative on the planning committee being Jay Knudsen, so we'll make sure that his name is in the document under that committee. Just as a reminder, the program serves as a management tool for structuring our transportation related projects and is intended improvements over a 4-year span. Projects include federally funded projects as well as regionally significant projects. We posted the draft back in May, on May 3rd, when our planning committee released it for public comment. According to our public participation plan, it was open for 25 days of comment. We posted it on our website, issued a press release, and paid for a legal ad for our public hearing today. And on June 7th, our planning committee voted to recommend approval to the board.
All right. Hearing the report, we'll accept a motion to approve the resolution.
Motion approved.
We have a motion, a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution stands. Moving on to the next item, resolution number 2023-05, a resolution expressing support of a U.S. Department of Transportation Reconnecting Communities Pilot Program grant application by the city of Cape Girardeau.
So these next two resolutions will both be for the same planning project envisioned by the city of Cape Girardeau. This resolution is very similar to the resolution the board approved last year at this time for the same program, the Reconnecting Communities Program. The program purpose is aimed to address transportation facilities which create barriers within communities. The city of Cape is seeking a planning grant for the study of Missouri Highway 74, the section in which locally is named Shawnee Parkway, to enhance north and south mobility for residents living adjacent and south of the highway. The Reconnecting Communities Program has $1 billion over the 5 years of the bipartisan infrastructure law. They have funding for both planning grants and capital construction grants. Their first cycle, which was last year, they apportioned 195 million of that billion, dedicating 50 million toward planning grants and 145 million for construction grants. As a pilot program, this was the very first year it was offered through the US DOT, and it turned out to be not only highly popular, but highly competitive. Of the planning grants received, they received 324 applications, of which only 39 were awarded. So that's a success rate of about 12% of those seeking planning grants. For capital construction, they received 90 applications, where they awarded only 6, with a success rate of 7% for applicants. They anticipate the second round of funding to open summer 2023. So with today being the first day of summer, we're a little bit ahead of the curve, but it's good to have these in hand when the applications do open, the funding opportunities open up. I did provide a good amount of print material for you to take a look at, interested in the various programs that are made available. We had received notice rather recently that the Reconnecting Communities program is being combined with the Neighborhood Access and Equity program. Somebody else. Which essentially just increases the amount of funding they're going to be having available for both planning and construction. It is somewhat unique to see some of these grant programs merge, but it's not unheard of. A recent example is the Multimodal Project Discretionary Grant Opportunity, or MPDG, which combined the National Infrastructure Project Assistance Grants, also known as MEGA, with the Nationally Significant Multimodal Freight and Highways Project Grant Program, or INFRA, along with the Rural Surface Transportation Grant Program, or RURAL. And the way that merger of those 3 grant programs worked was an applicant could submit one application and be considered for all 3, or just 2, or just 1, depending on how they marked the boxes when they submitted it. So I'm hoping this will actually expedite a lot of the applications and provide people more opportunity to participate and potentially be awarded.
And we have the 2 resolutions. The first one is support of the grant application, and the second is support of the project itself.
The first one is, and that we have 2 resolutions before you because the city had intended in participating in Reconnecting Communities, but we also were aware of the Neighborhood Access and Equity Program, as well as additional opportunities that may be opening up later in the future. So we wanted a resolution with the Reconnecting Communities Program in the resolution title, and then instead of hitting the board up later with a new opportunity that opened up, we have more general language in support of a planning grant application. So that would cover any future applications the city may intend to apply for, which is really the 3 that I've outlined in this 1-page handout. The third being the Thriving Communities Program. And I can provide all information folks want on it, but it'll be the 2nd year of that program as well.
Okay. All right. With the information Alex provided, I will take a resolution, a motion to adopt the resolution number 2023-05 for the Reconnect program application.
So moved.
We have a motion,
Second.
second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes. And then moving on to resolution 2023-06 in support of the project itself and future applications.
Correct. Yeah, and I really don't have too much more to add other than the 3rd program I had mentioned, the Thriving Communities Program. It's structured a little bit differently in that they select capacity builder partnership teams, which actually receive the grant funds. And those teams are then the ones that assist the applicants with their project if the applicants are selected for the award. The last cycle, the Thriving Communities Program had $21 million available in planning project funds. Just to give some perspective on the differences between the programs.
Okay. So we accept the motion to approve the resolution 2023-06.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion,
Second.
Second.
motion second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes. Let's move on to next item, draft Safe Streets for All Comprehensive Safety Action Plan, RFP.
This is just a brief update from our discussion with our planning committee earlier this month. We did get our notice to proceed for our project, and we had originally outlined this grant project aligning with SEMPO's fiscal year. So already having a notice to proceed in hand and July 1 coming up shortly, we're making great time with our project timeline. Our planning committee did form a RFP review committee. I have created a draft RFP that I've handed off to them to review. And the main feedback I'd really like from them is our project scope. Within our grant agreement, we have very specific planned elements that we need to satisfy. But with the funds available, we can branch out above and beyond what the original grant agreement scope is. I did have Federal Highway Administration review the draft RFP that I put together. They gave approval for it with the caveat that we didn't need their approval for it, but they appreciated us offering it up for feedback. So we'll have our planning committee review it. I'll get our planning committee to give approval to put it out, and we'll be underway.
That pretty much closes the new business for today, so we can move into member reports with plenty of time to spare. So if you have stuff to share, please do. We'll start with City of Cape.
Well, we have a lot of different projects going on, a lot of culvert and drainage projects in the city that are creating, large messes, but happy to see them happening. West End Boulevard, north of Capitol Park, that project will, I don't know the finished date, but it's well along. Getting a lot of complaints about people who want to see Capitol Park empty of all the construction materials, but anyway, that's what's happening there. And still some construction happening in Capitol Park, to deal with drainage things. But our next big project is after the West End project is buttoned up is the Lexington Avenue on the far north part of town. Some of you who are outside of town, might use Lexington to get downtown when you come in, and that has been escalated as a project just due to the advanced deterioration of that road. If anyone ever drives that, what I'm talking about. So that'll be our next big thing that people will notice.
Thank you. We'll move on to City of Jackson.
We completed our asphalt overlay program for the year and are underway with the concrete improvement program for this calendar year. That's all.
Okay. Rodney, anything to add?
No.
All right. Cape Turtle County.
Just overland roads and they're dusty.
But they are that. Cape Transit.
Nothing to report.
All right. Moving on. RPC, Drew, do you have anything?
Working on the amendment to the tip that just dropped it.
And we are working through our TAC process as well. That meeting scheduled next month. SEMO ready.
Already is finalizing strategic planning process, which next month with plans to unveil or release that revised strategic plan in August. So that Chad Turner has been contracted to come on board as staff beginning July 1 to support the final efforts of the SEMO ready.
Good. All right, we'll move on to MoDOT.
Okay.
First things first, the draft STIP is out for comment, available on our website. We're taking comments through first week of July. If anyone wants to go out to our website, have a look at that and provide some comments. And we expect the highway commissioner to adopt that the second week of July, I believe, or maybe a couple of days after the 4th. It's been pushed back a little bit because of the holiday. Second, this group has worked on the high priority unfunded needs list. The TPC and the board has went over that a number of times. We are planning a public meeting for the district for August the 15th from 4 to 6 p.m. That will be at the Boot Hill RPC offices in Dexter. We previously had meetings at Ozark Foothills, but we were trying to spread that around a little bit, but still trying to keep it somewhat central to the district. The list of those high priority unfunded needs will be published just in a general time frame from mid-July to mid-August. We will let the planning partners know. So SEMPO, RPC, Alex, you guys will receive an email that you can send out to your distribution list, so they can go ahead and kind of review that. I did miss, when I mentioned the draft stuff a couple minutes ago, there is a new section this year, section 4B, that is termed legislative funded and designated initiatives. Those would include things like the governor's focus bridge program that we had, where we did a number of different bridges across the state, the governor's cost share program, the first round and the second round that we just had last December. So there's been some stuff going on there. Drew, with the first amendment to the TIP, do we have a time frame on that yet?
Well, it's got to be after the.
Does have to be after the after the official, I guess, approval. We would very much like to have that by board approval in August. I don't think we can feasibly get it in July, obviously, but we do have the Route 72 project that goes from 34 back to 25. Has been delayed a couple of different times, and we rejected bids the last time it was bid out. And so that is back in the STIP for October. And the way our stuff works, we basically have to have everything ready for review by Federal Highway 6 weeks prior to the letting. So basically we need it, if we can, we need that in August. And I think that's everything.
All right. Chris, you got anything to add?
Just an update on the Route 61 project in the city of Jackson. Pennzoil Construction has met with us I think it was last week. They're proposing a design change to the utilities in order to help circumvent some really long lead times on several of the utility items. So we've received their plan and modifications, and we're currently reviewing that to see if we can get that approved and that project up and running. We are putting out for bid this month the Route W project, which goes from Route 177 to the Lexington roundabout. That'll include an overlay on Route W, and then pavement improvements through the roundabout as well. Hopefully get good bids back on that. We did receive preliminary plans from the city of Jackson for their roundabout at Deerwood Drive. We've reviewed those and provided those comments back to the city. So that project's moving along pretty well. The Kiwanis Drive and Kings Highway pedestrian project, the city of Cape put that out for bid this last month, and unfortunately received pretty high bids. I think it was roughly 67% over engineer's estimate. They are electing to go ahead and try and award some of that because they didn't really factor in their engineer's estimate the additional cost for nighttime work, so they don't expect much would change if they rebid it. So our central office group is currently reviewing that to see if we can concur with that and award it and get it underway. Also working on BRO applications. We received 27 applications for BRO funds this call for projects. I think we have about $8 million worth of funding, and that would equate to roughly 8 to 10 bridges that we could potentially award out of those 7. So more to come on that. The governor's appropriations bill included a pretty significant amount of money for low volume roads. We met internally today, actually, to start that process to try and get those projects scoped and put out for bid in the very near future, where we have a pretty tight timeline on that because of the funding with that. The funding mechanism requires that we let that early this summer and have a completion date on all the routes that we wind up overlaying by November of 2024. So we're pretty busy in-house, and that's all I got on my update. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. I'll move on to IDOT. Tom?
No.
All right, Federal Highway.
This is Betsy Tracy on the Illinois division side, and just want to give a lot of credit to Alex and the team for applying for these federal discretionary grant opportunities. You guys are doing a great job of this, and the state DOTs are kind of keeping you informed of what's coming up, and you're doing your own due diligence. So best of luck on those programs, and hope to see some federal dollars come into the region. That's all I have today. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Representative Post, do you have anything to share?
I do not.
Okay. Did we miss any reports? Okay, we'll move on to staff report.
Only last thing I had was, I made reference to some of the handouts I printed out. There were 3 of them. One of them that's stapled is the email notification about the reconnecting communities and the neighborhood access and equity programs being merged. So if you wanted to see the information that's been shared to date, that's the latest that we've received so far. That's the announcement showing the 2 programs combined and what those funding buckets look like now that they're together. But again, the notice of funding opportunity is still not out at this point. But all advertisements they've said is summer of 2023. So as of today, we're there. The other one is a breakdown of the 3 planning grant programs that the city has been evaluating. If you have interest in taking a look at those, you can see kind of how they're structured on this 1-pager. And then the final printout was our fiscal year 2024, which will start July 1. This is just a quick reminder of the projects listed at the very top of what we selected as far as what we'd like to accomplish this fiscal year. So it's a quick description of what planning project we've identified and of what we had budgeted for them. So just to give you a point of reference, when I start kicking off some of these initiatives, it's a reminder of what that was and what we're looking to do. That's all I have.
All right. Anyone have any other business or communications you'd like to share? Our next meeting is scheduled for July 19th, 2 p.m. I hear again.
And unless otherwise noted, yes.
Okay. And with that, we'll take a motion to adjourn. We have a motion second.
Okay.
All. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.